What's up, everyone? Grimm here with another edition of 31 Nights, 31 Frights. No! It can't be that we're almost to the end of the first season. We now turn our sights to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein!
Curdle the blood and quicken the beatings of the heart.
This film was released on November 4th, 1994. It is rated R, has a runtime of 2 hours, 3 minutes, was directed by Kenneth Branagh, and the writers were Steph Lady, Frank Darabont, who you may know from The Walking Dead, and of course Mary Shelley gets credit for the original novel, Frankenstein or Modern Prometheus. The cast is pretty good. It stars Robert De Niro as the creature, or sometimes better known as Frankenstein's monster. Kenneth Branagh himself played Victor Frankenstein. We have Helena Bonham Carter in a rare non-Tim Burton role as Elizabeth. And of course we have Aidan Quinn as Captain Robert Walton.
My name is Victor Frankenstein.
Captain Walton wants to reach the North Pole and doesn't care much if his crew dies to get him there. His obsession gets them run aground on an iceberg where they're in imminent danger from a massive creature. Out of the darkness comes Victor Frankenstein, who, despite said imminent danger, feels it would be a great time to retell his entire life story to this group of random strangers. Victor recounts his life as a youth and a young adult, and his obsession with medicine. Losing his mother brought about an obsession with prolonging life, which he argued with his professors at university. When his mentor, Waldman, is murdered by a patient who doesn't want a vaccine against the plague, Frankenstein begins his quest in earnest. He constructs his creature from bits and pieces of numerous plague victims, including the man who murdered his mentor and, in fact, the brain of his mentor himself. But once his experiment actually proves successful, he realizes what he's created is an abomination, and he lets it escape, hoping the plague will kill it as it is killing so many other people.
I will have revenge. Frankenstein!
So this film is generally considered to be the most faithful adaptation of Mary Shelley's novel, even though some plot elements were changed and added to make the movie more interesting, I presume. The first thing I noticed is that the film has not a scrap of subtlety in it anywhere. There's the potential for it. The raw material in the screenplay is there. But every scene is screamed at the audience, and every musical note is incredibly loud and overwrought. There really are no quiet moments, and even the softer moments are still screamed in some way, be it through set design, sound design, or performance. The film is almost bombastically overproduced, and it kind of revels in it. Star and director Kenneth Branagh must really have felt that the story needed these larger-than-life touches, because Frankenstein is a cultural touchstone, and therefore maybe it deserves to be more epic. The film really isn't an opera, but this movie sounds like something Andrew Lloyd Webber would write pop rock ballads for. Shelley's story is so deeply tragic. A man so afraid of death and loss violates all natural and moral law to create what is at first an abomination. Over time, the creature learns to be at peace and even become a little human. And in fact, he has the very human vice of obsession. Obsessed with feeling loved and obsessed with people not being afraid of him. There are a lot of themes at play here, even when the film is screaming at you. Over-the-top production aside, I actually found this film to be capably directed, and the performances were mostly on the money, if a little flamboyant. Thematically, there's a lot to unpack here about obsession, responsibility, loss and grief, parenthood, and there's a lot more than that even. And while the film is not subtle, with these themes in any way. The story itself has a little bit of subtlety kind of woven into its very fabric, and that transcends the medium, and it still manifests somewhat during the film.
Why do you weep? He was my father.
So is this one worth it? Yes. Despite the production being so in your face about everything, this is my personal favorite adaptation of the novel, and it's definitely well worth the time. I put this one squarely in the middle with 2.5 Grimms. That's it for this edition of 31 Nights, 31 Frights. Thanks for listening and watching. I hope you'll consider hitting that subscribe button and checking out all of the other shows we have to offer here at Grimm's Scary Tales.